For the past 2 months, since early August, a quarter of the 145 active vessels in the Hawaii longline fleet has been prohibited from catching their target species, bigeye tuna. Arbitrary quotas that are not linked to conservation objectives are keeping them tied to the docks. These struggling vessels and the small businesses they support are accumulating millions of dollars in debt each month, causing untold anxiety for the fishing community.
What you don't see is the boat captains, the boat owners, and their livelihoods that are basically affected by this whole fishing closure. You know, they got families to feed, not only the captains and the boat owners, but the crewmen as well. It's heartbreaking, more so than anything else.
The boats not go fishing is costing me 14 to 15,000 a month to sit in here.
I don't know what happened to my boat if the business went out, and where we're gonna be, homeless.
It's just a little bit disheartening when the year was really good. I think El Nino brought a lot of fish to the Central Pacific, and then it was swatted, killed, knocked down to nearly nothing.
If this continue and would last until December, then most of the boat owner will have a lot of problem, and as well as us too. We need to pay a big rent here, and the inventory that is due, the inventory that is prepaid, loans that we got from the banks, and you know, there's a lot of impact, huge impact for this closure.
People that want fish cannot have fish. People that want to work are getting a hard time to work. You know and I know, small business, the backbone of America. It always has been.
In almost 2 months, we don't have the business. So we cannot go catch the fish. I need to do this kind of business, so I have to do this business. So what else I gonna do?
The rest of the Hawaii fleet has been forced out of their primary fishing grounds in the Western and Central Pacific and must travel more than 1,000 miles into the Eastern Pacific to set their hooks to catch bigeye tuna.
It's easy to say, well, if you have a small boat, you can just fish in the east. Well, that may be easy to say. The fish happen to be about 1,100 miles from town. So you go fooling around in a 50-footer 1,100 miles. I mean, it's a huge safety issue for people. So the impact is larger than those who are strictly regulatory affected.
We have to fish east of 150 degrees, which is about 450, 500 miles east of town here. And then once you're out there further from town too, you know, it's a fresh fish market, so it limits your fishing time out that way too, and you don't want to come in with old fish.
This travesty has happened because of 2 international quota systems, one in the Eastern Pacific for larger longline vessels and another in the Western and Central Pacific for all longline vessels. Both allocate the United States a minuscule amount of bigeye tuna. As a result, industrial foreign fleets with much higher bigeye tuna quotas freely operate on the high seas around the Hawaiian Islands, where Hawaii longline fishermen can no longer fish for bigeye tuna.
If other countries can fish in this closure area, take the fish back and ship it back to America, that's, I don't know, that seems wrong to me. It almost feels like somebody's stealing from you and then selling it back to you.
Overfishing of bigeye tuna in the Pacific started when the purseine fleets began using fish aggregation devices. While fishing on fads targeting skipjack tuna for canneries, the purseiners unintentionally catch more bigeye than the longline fishery. The Hawaii fishery lands only 1.5% of the bigeye tuna caught in the Pacific Ocean. Our fishing grounds are thousands of miles away from the equatorial Pacific, the epicenter of overfishing.
We're a relatively small percentage of the bigeye take in the region, and we are a fresh fish fishery feeding a domestic market, and I think those are very important components. The fish is going to come from somewhere. We think it should come from American boats.
The Hawaii longline fishery is unique. The fish is packed in ice and brought fresh to the dock for mostly Hawaii consumption. Imported tuna, on the other hand, are mostly frozen. It's transshipped at sea with little monitoring and little traceability. These tuna are often treated with carbon monoxide, giving them an artificially fresh appearance. Consumers should make informed decisions when they buy seafood and support locally caught U.S. fish.
Fish outside of Hawaii is not the quality we're looking for. Most of them is gas-treated fish or previously frozen fish, or fish caught by a foreign boat who doesn't follow the same regulation that Hawaiian fishing would do. So I don't support it.
Well, we try not to do frozen in terms of our poke. In terms of our, we want to do fresh poke, not previously frozen.
Hawaii fish, since the way the way we take care of it, and the closer that we fish, the fish is a lot fresher, we can compete with the world.
The Western Pacific Regional Fishery Management Council played a key role in establishing the Western and Central Pacific Fisheries Commission in 2000. We supported the Commission's goals to prevent overcapacity and to eliminate bigeye overfishing. However, the Commission has conspicuously failed to address these critical issues, and the Hawaii longline fishery is teetering on the edge of a cliff.
We've been doing the fishing for 25 years. That's the only thing we do for living.
Days lost at sea are days that you can't recover. They don't come back. We don't get to make up. We don't get to have another chance at it.
If this is going on, then we have to close our business. We have no choice.
There needs to be some urgency. I can't continue like this for, into December.
The fishing is like farming, it has a rhythm. You break the rhythm and it's a problem. So if you have a 10-day closure, it's not 10 days. A 30-day closure, it's not 30 days. The closures are longer because there's so many ripple-on effects with what goes on. As to the question as to whether they'll be able to make it, I think that there will be people who don't make it. And there will be people who go in and remortgage and do all kinds of ugly things that folks do when they're struggling to stay in business.
The Hawaii fishery is being penalized for a problem it did not create. It should be rewarded for being an exemplary fishery. The Western Pacific Council, under the Magnuson-Stevens Act, has responsibly managed this fishery for decades. The fishery has maintained high levels of observer coverage, provided quality fisheries data for stock assessments, pioneered the vessel monitoring system, and mitigated protected species interactions.
I started sending these people fish, they were like, wow, hey, we never seen the brilliant color. We never seen the fat and big eyes and all these other stuff. And what about this, what about that? And I said, look, this is stuff sustainable. You can trace this fish. Every pound can be traced back to the boat. Every pound can be found where it came from.
The United States government must commit to protect the Hawaii longline fishery. The alternative is dependence on foreign imports and the irrevocable loss of Hawaii's iconic fishery.
The mainland guys simply stop buying Hawaiian fish. They will find it elsewhere.
Even we are as a fisherman, we can't afford to eat fish in Hawaii right now.
Come from a fishing family, and so I have one son, he loves fishing too, so. But I've kind of talked him into, have something else to fall back on too, because it's kind of scary, the future of fishing. It's kind of a question mark if you'd be able to make a living at it, with all the regulations and everything.